Hello friends. In Poland, there are massive inspections and strict crackdowns on the labor market. We have a lot of news from the border guard. These range from inspections of thousands of foreigners, literally thousands, at warehouses in Wroclaw to raids at staffing agencies. We're going to break down how deportations work, fines of tens of thousands of zlotys, and why schemes involving illegal workers always end the same way. Friends, please leave a like and check your notification bell if you know what I mean. Huge thanks to everyone who doesn't hold back. Simple actions take just 2 seconds. Thank you all for your support. Yes, to promote the video, write a comment of at least 7 words, such as why Baldi isn't at the beach or at the front. Well, let's get down to business. The Polish border guard, together with the labor inspectorate, uncovered another scheme. This time, it's a large warehouse of a global logistics giant in Wroclaw. This is no small matter. The essence of the case, the scale. They checked 1,020 foreigners at a single company at once. Out of this huge group, they caught 13 citizens of Colombia who were working hard without any permits at all. The Colombians face administrative proceedings, deportation, and a Schengen entry ban. As a bonus, yes, the border guards also conducted inspections at 3 staffing agencies through which these people were brought in, and now the employer is facing a hefty fine. A classic example of how the capitalist system operates. The labor market, major logistics hubs, and intermediary agencies are all chasing the cheapest possible labor, blatantly ignoring the law, of course. They bring people from the other side of the world and exploit them illegally, but here the administrative system is unyielding. Illegal labor is a violation of the rules of the game. The migrant workers will be sent home with a ban on re-entry, and the employer will receive a financial penalty. Well, friends, whether good or bad, everything is strictly legal, and as you see, without extra sanctions. Yeah, honestly, raids like this, checking 1,000 people at once, I haven't seen anything like that in a long time. Next, we have more news from the border guards in Tarnów, who, together with labor inspectors, raided another construction site. This is in Brzeski County. Here's the story. It was a construction company where, once again, 7 citizens of Colombia were working. They're exploiting the guys to the fullest. During the inspection, it turned out that none of them had valid work permits. The Colombians were fined 1,000 zlotys each. By the way, in 2015 I was also fined exactly 1,000 zlotys. Plus, there were also court costs. They ordered a forced return to their homeland, imposed a 1-year Schengen entry ban, and also targeted the construction company's owner. For illegally employing workers, he's facing a hefty fine. What we see here, friends, is simply the usual desire of small and medium businesses to save on labor costs. Local businesses attract cheap labor from overseas. For some reason, they ignore even the basic paperwork, and the workers just hope that, oh, well, it'll be fine anyway. But as you can see, the state machinery puts a stop to such tricks pretty quickly. The main thing is to get on their radar. Employers lose money and face inspections, while workers lose entry rights to Europe. Labor market laws are the same everywhere, my friends. If you try to cheat, you'll have to pay a fine and fly back home. You could defend the Colombians here, saying they didn't know. Sadly, that's true. I didn't know either. But ignorance is no excuse. There you go. Of course, people's plans were badly disrupted. I'm not saying their lives, but their plans were seriously affected. Next, news along the same lines. The border service of the Warmian-Masurian Voivodeship busted a capital city recruitment agency that was supplying labor to the Ostroda County. What's the essence of the story? Out of 50 workers checked, 42 were working hard and toiling in violation of the law at 2 local factories. 34 citizens of sunny Colombia were working without permits. What's going on? 4 from Nicaragua, 3 from Guatemala, and 1 Paraguayan. Sounds like a joke, right? A Nicaraguan, Colombian, Guatemalan, and Paraguayan walk into a place. Many of them didn't even have written contracts in a language they could understand. In short, the president of the agency didn't deny it, admitted guilt, and agreed to a voluntary fine of 40,000 zlotys, plus he got some additional penalties. As a bonus, an extra 2,000 for not notifying the relevant authorities. Classic business, right? Again, I'll repeat, everything here is as clear as day. They brought in cheap labor from Latin America, saved money by skipping legal paperwork. People are working without contracts. Staffing agencies count on huge profits, hoping that inspections probably won't reach them. But as you can see, sooner or later, the border guards and the state inspection shut down these schemes. In the end, the businessman was prescribed some financial therapy, 42,000 zlotys, right? Well, as you can see, the desire to save money at the expense of workers' rights leads to this kind of outcome, a hit to their own pocket. Well, of course, it's interesting how many such so-called employers haven't been caught. So, we're moving to the border, friends. The Polish-Lithuanian section of the border and border guards from Szczecin have stopped another scheme for transporting illegal migrants. Here's the essence of the story. On the night of July 24th, which was very recently, a seat with Polish plates was stopped. The driver was a 33-year-old citizen. No, not of Ukraine, of Poland. In the car were 6 Somali citizens without any documents allowing them to stay. Well, actually, friends, that same morning the border guards caught another 10 Somalis who had crossed the border from Lithuania on foot through the forest. So, the enterprising Polish businessman for organizing, although I don't think he's the organizer, he's just the driver. That's what I think. Maybe I'm wrong. But still, the Pole faces criminal charges and an 8-year prison term for organizing illegal transit. Imprisonment, and all 16 Somalis will be sent back to their Lithuanian counterparts under the readmission procedure. Deal with this yourselves. By the way, friends, I'll tell you, I met a Somali in Italy. They make kebabs there. I asked him, why are you trying to get into Poland? I said, do you know what kind of social benefits they have there? He said, I also wanted to get Polish social benefits, but it didn't work out. I wasn't lucky, as they say. I was on my way to success. And these 16 guys, they probably knew too that you can get Polish social benefits. Man, I don't know. Even Rockefeller would be jealous. That's it. Well, let's get back to the conclusions, friends. What is this? Classic business. Yes, if we put the jokes aside, classic business built on human misery and illegal migration. Some try to slip across the border, bypassing all the rules, while others make money off of it. They rely on luck, on Polish luck, and on easy money. Yes, but the government and its agencies have long been aware of these schemes. Some get caught sooner, others later, but eventually you will get caught. In the end, the organizer of the transit ends up in prison, and his passengers are sent back to where they came from, only now without any money. I doubt they'll ever get their money back. Yes. In short, my advice to you, dear comrades, is don't get involved with crime. All right, more. Well, what would an episode be without Ukrainians, right? The Polish border service, together with the police, sent 2 Ukrainian citizens back to their homeland. One is 30 years old, and the other is 45 young guys. Why? Because they regularly enjoy drunk driving. The first character, let's start with the younger one, 30 years old, managed to get 3 convictions for drunk driving, but he didn't learn his lesson. And once again, he got behind the wheel while drunk. But apparently even the Poles say on the 4th time, come on man, you've really lost it now. Honestly, I'm surprised. Well, okay, the first time, fine, if no one got hurt. A huge fine. Take away his license, sure. But, well, you can still somehow try to justify it. Maybe he was still feeling it from the night before, still had some alcohol in his system in the morning. He was driving to work. The second time, in my opinion, that's it. That's already going too far. And here it's 4 times. Comment if you think I'm wrong. Next, this 45-year-old citizen also systematically collected traffic violations. He was also caught drunk driving. The Polish authorities responded very quickly. Literally on July 25th and 26th, both of them were issued forced return orders, and they successfully left the territory of Poland. They're probably at the training center already, since today is July 27th. When a foreigner enters another country and repeatedly ignores its laws and public safety, well, as you can see, the administrative machine takes a long time to get going, but it works without sentiment. In general, I'll repeat, a drunk driver is a direct threat to other people's lives. It doesn't matter who you are, whether you're Polish, Ukrainian, or Filipino. While criminal cases with expert examinations drag on for years, migration rules work instantly. If you violate the terms of stay, that's it, you're out. In my opinion, everything is strictly according to the law, even if it came late. So follow the laws, don't get behind the wheel drunk. And let's have one more story, friends, since we still have some time. Filipino, 57 years old, an adult man, decided to become a hero, one of the heroes of my episodes. Back at the end of 2024, he was officially told to leave the country. They said, we're giving you 30 days, you have problems with your documents, and you don't want to fix them. You have 30 days, pack your things, finish your business, and get out. Filipinets simply ignored the requirements and stayed in Poland without papers, and he was automatically entered into the Schengen Information System SIS as an illegal visitor. In the end, they finally caught him during a repeat check. So, under escort, they brought him to Okęcie, that's Warsaw Chopin Airport, and they forcibly sent him back home on a direct flight. It's interesting, of course, who paid for that? Because, well, I don't think tickets to the Philippines are cheap. In general, when a foreigner is given time to leave voluntarily, he decided to play hide and seek. So, well, the result is clear. Sooner or later, well, sometimes it takes 20 years, but they'll find you. Yes, they may be slow to start, but they get the job done reliably. In short, friends, ignoring a deportation order is a naive attempt to trick the system, which eventually ends with an escort to the airplane. You get blacklisted everywhere, and so on. You must obey the law and accept the consequences. Don't count on that Polish it'll work out somehow mindset, or the Ukrainian or Filipino version either. That's the news, my friends. Today I went through some border news, or rather, news that came from our dear border guards. By the way, they're recruiting for the service. The salaries are low, but the job is interesting. Yes, friends, please leave likes, write comments, and say what city you're watching from. It's important. That's all for now. Take care of yourselves and your loved ones. See you next time. To be continued.